Oh, you guys do not understand how tough it has been to get a video out today. I have recorded 3 separate videos in one sitting, and all of them has had a problem with either the recording, camera, the face cam, and it's just been hell. But we are going to go for take 4 of a video. And I'm so sorry for no face cam today. One of the issues was I use my phone for face cam, if you don't know. Considering I don't have an actual webcam currently. I can't afford to get one anytime soon either. It just died on me really quickly. It said it had a certain percentage and then it just went. So unfortunately we have to do this video without facecam, so I'm so sorry there. Hopefully my beautiful voice is enough to keep you by until the end of this video. This deck is absolutely crazy, and I say don't play it. That is my recommendation. Why? Because it's just stupid. But nonetheless, we are here to experiment. We are here to have fun. And the best way to have fun and experiment is to do stupid ideas and put them to the test, because you never know, a stupid idea could be extremely viable. So with that said, we're going to get into a game with, I just call it Explosion. It's the Explosion deck, right? Because you just get Electrode, Accelerate to Lightning Pokemon, go for Electro Power and Choice Band and just hit big numbers, discard all your energy with Zekrom, and then get Raikou, and Raikou can just do the late game sweep with Shrine and stuff. So it's got a concept. It's a deck with a concept, but it is super risky to play because you are sacrificing prize cards for the sake of energy acceleration, which is never great in a game where prize cards are easy to take, considering our HP is not that great. Now, with that said, let's actually just get into this. So Shuckle turn 1 is great. We want Shuckle to get energy in the discard pile so we can go for the idealistic start here. Now, it looks like they're playing a non-GX deck, which is both good and a bad thing. Good because they usually aren't hard hitters, and bad because we will be, unfortunately, taking single prizes, which is not great. We want to take double prizes here. Okay, so Nest Ball is fantastic. We can get the Voltorb out and just more energy in the discard pile. 5 energy in the discard pile straight away is great. We are on fire. If I can get a supporter of this Acrobike, that would be one of the best turns ever. Oh my god. That is just insane. We are actually going to keep the Energy Recycler because that's kind of crucial. We'll get rid of the Rescue Stretch. We seem to have what we want here. And we have an Electrode. And we have another Nest Ball. Oh, this is just one of the best turn 1s I've ever seen on this deck. Maybe you should try this deck. I'm going to probably eat those words at the end of this video because I probably will lose after running out of a ton of resources and just sitting here poking damage for no reason. Right, yeah, so we're going to go for Electro GX. You can see I'm in love with this card. I just really am. Now, is it anything spectacular? I mean, no, there's Pokemon that can do the same thing with far less of a cost. But I just love the speed and the options you have around Zekrom, with it specifically being a lightning Pokemon. There's an option where we can actually Stormblade for just 1 energy. If we go for a counter gain when we're behind on prizes and we play Thunder Mountain, you can Stormblade for 130 damage on 1 singular energy on a single prize Pokemon. If that's not something to just at least be excited about, then I don't know what is. Being able to use Raikou's attack, or Raikou, however you want to pronounce it, for free. Fantastic. I mean, there's just so many great things. And, okay. This is an example, guys, of everything just not going my way today. Screw this. We're going to keep rolling, and we're going to go into another game. I'll see you in a second. Okay, we are back. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why. If you've been watching my recent videos, you are the real MVP, and you've probably realized that my internet just, for some reason, it's just struggling with this game. I mean, when I use it regularly during the day, it's perfectly fine. But sometimes it just goes, well, I don't know why I even exist, and then just decides to just cut out for a second. Well, you could see from the first game, that was a fantastic start. And unfortunately, it just the internet went. But that's the potential, I guess, of this deck. I assume we just reached the most idealistic start that deck could ever have. But now it seems like we have a much more awkward hand. However, playing like I think we played 3 Acrobike and a ton of Sightseer, Zeb Striker, and just a ton of discard options. And we just have a ton of speed in this list. So it's not too hard to get going, especially if you fall behind. So with that said, Ultra Ball is going to be our choice here. And we're actually going to get our Shuckle, because Shuckle is the ideal Pokemon to get going. And we don't have to rely on Electro GX. We can just start using Raikou here to accelerate energy out. However, of course, the Electrode is the ideal one here. Now we can go over an Acrobike, see what we pull, or we can Ultra Ball the way there's a Striker and the Acrobike for a more reliable card. But let's just see what we pull from the Acrobike. So getting the energy is not that big a deal. So we do lose a Cynthia there, which I guess was a bit of a misplay. However, we can be a bit risky here. We play things like Rescue Stretcher and Energy Recycle, so we have resources that we can just get rid of essentially. Voltorb is crucial, so we'll get that out now. And we'll go for the Cynthia. So, I mean, that's a pretty good turn one. Not as good as the last one, but let's see what we pull here. So, Zekrom and Electro GX. So, this is fine, actually. This is pretty good. If we can Acrobike next turn and maybe pull... Acrobike now. Let's see what we pull. So, we pull the Counter Gain, which is okay. I think I'll leave the Counter Gain for now. Losing a Counter Gain from the Acrobike is not great. Yeah, so we'll leave it at that. If we manage to find a way to pull off a retreat with this Raikou or find a Guzma, then that'll be pretty neat. Now, if they knock out this Raikou this turn, that's actually a bit of a one-up for us because we don't have to use... if we find Thunder Mountain, actually, then that'd be great. We don't even need to use Electro GX. We can just Stormblade for singular energy, which would be kind of nice. But them having a Zoroark this early on... and having the 2 energy attached to it is just a bit of a threat, considering our Raikou is just not idealistically going to have the best HP to deal with a Zoroark. However, they seem to just whiff them. Now, I'm going to evolve the Electro GX now. We don't have to use it. We can just sit there and lay wait. Now, the great thing is with this Electro GX is it puts us behind on prizes, which activates Counter Game, which is pretty nifty. So we can just be a bit silly here and accelerate to our Zekrom and our Raikou. We'll go for Electro Power here. Let's just see what we pull from this Sightseer before we decide on how we're going to go about things. I'm just going to get rid of this Sightseer too. And just see what we get. Okay, so an energy, we could actually go for a Booming Thunder here for a nice 30 damage and actually get energy onto the Zekrom without having to sacrifice prizes. So I guess we could do that. Well, actually, no, we can go for a 120 if we do... commit to another Electro Power. Let's see what we pull here. So I think, yeah, do you know what? We'll do this. The reason why is because what I'm going to do now is, oh wait, no, I've completely miscalculated this. I was going to Ultra Ball away an energy and a Choice Band, but then that reduces the damage output. We have to attach this turn to attack, so I think we're just going to go in a bit greedy here and just do it. Just go for a Booming Thunder here for a nice 120 damage, accelerate to the Zekrom, and if they take this Raikou out, which I expect they will, they've activated our Counter Gain, and we can Stormblade them for knockout. So this deck, do you know, has a lot more versatility than I expected. I mean, I did play this deck before, a different variant of it, and it just seemed too explosive, but after making some changes where I added the likes of Raikou, then it just seems a lot better, which is kind of good news. So we are playing the updated Gardevoir Zoroark list, which plays this bad boy, which is not showing up on the screen for some reason when I click on it. There we go. This new Gardevoir is quite cool. Now, look at Sensitive Ray. You probably think, oh, Fairy Double Colorless, bit iffy. But when you're playing the likes of Gardevoir GX, where you accelerate energy, that turns this into just a double colorless energy attack or anything down that line. So what does that say? Search your deck up. Is it search your deck for 3 cards, put them into your hand? Ah, that's pretty nice. So it's exactly the same as what's it called? My brain is going dead. Sylveon GX. There we go. The one I always get confused with Cynthia. Right, yeah, so this is a pretty nifty card. Having it out is great for them. They can get the cards they want. We can go for another Booming Thunder here. However, it doesn't really seem too important. We could, if we really get desperate, go for Electro GX's GX attack, which is something that I wouldn't think about doing because the Electro GX is not there to attack. It's there to just blow up. But, I mean, we're in a pretty good spot when it comes to a board state-ish. I mean, the Ultra Ball is good, but... we're just in a tough spot. We could attach the energy here and then go for a Booming Thunder, but then that's kind of pointless. Attaching energy here is pointless. I think what we're going to do is we're going to Ultra Ball and just get a Blitzel out. Because we want to hopefully top deck a Zeb Striker somehow or a Rescue Stretcher and then you know, go down that road. We're not going to go behind in prizes just yet. We're going to go for the 30 damage. We're going to bring an energy onto the Zekrom. So if they take out anything but the Zekrom, our counter gain is activated. And whichever token they take it out with, unless they evolve the Zorak, which they're likely to actually, considering they got 3 cards that they wanted, then we should be in a good spot. Okay, so yeah, they're probably going to evolve that Zorak now. And the odds of them having a DCE in hand are quite high. So now did they trade before the Acerola? If so, that was a bit of a misplay. I think they should have traded and then Acerola'd, because that gives you an extra trade. So they misplayed with the Zorak there. But to be fair, they're not in a position where, you know, that kind of misplay is going to cause them any problems, because look at us. we are in dead hand towns. It's not really that great. So what are they going to Ultra Ball for now? Another Zorak, or are they going to get a Gardevoir GX for next turn? On the presumption that this Gardevoir is going down. If I was them, I would get a Gardevoir GX because... Oh, maybe not. Kind of a... Maybe they don't have the rare candy. But I think Gardevoir GX would have been the way to go if they had the opportunity to do so, because this is going down to my Zekrom. And at that point, you know, the Zorak is just not going to take this out. So... And then after that, we have Electro GX, and we could use that ability. Internet, don't do this to me. No. Don't scare me, man. Don't do this. Right, we're actually just going to go for a Storm. I'm going to hold on to this Zekrom. Yeah, because we may, you know, it may be useful for an Ultra Ball for everyone down the line, which would be great for getting a Zep Striker. Plus, we don't need to bench it right now. I mean, that's tough, you know, because... No, figured it out. I was going to say we might need to bench it because if this goes down, we need to promote something that can attack. But what we'll do is we would promote the Electrode, blow it up, and charge this Zekrom up. So we're fine. So, yeah. So let's go for a Stormblade here from 130 damage. Be great if we get a Thunder Mountain out this turn because... Oh, Ultra Ball. Fantastic. Yes. However, Zeb Striker is bugged. We can't use Zeb Striker if we have no cards in our hand. And if we Ultra Ball for a Zeb Striker next turn, we will have no cards in our hand, leaving us in a very tough position. And I must say that. Now, we can actually reactivate, if our Zekrom doesn't go down, we can reactivate our counter game by using Electro GX, charging up the Zekrom, and then going for another Stormblade. So, we almost... It's weird. We have a lot of control when it comes to prizes. But not in the way you'd want to, because we're giving them prizes, and that's a win condition. So, not really idealistic. Anyway, they do have the Gardevoir out, and that's a pretty good spot for them. Now, if they hit into this Zekrom here, I mean, it's a bit tough, because... Well, no, it's not tough. Oh, no, it is tough. I was going to say it's not tough, because we can just Outrage for a single energy. No, we can't, because we're not behind on prizes. But Outrage is an attack we can use, so... If they drop us to a pretty low HP, Outrage could be a considerable attack without having to discard energy. But with that said, if we had the energy to use Outrage, we would have the energy to use Stormblade because we need 2 and we don't play DCE. So I would rather Stormblade than Outrage, considering Outrage can only do a maximum of 120. So we have to keep that into consideration. Now, what I'm going to do is a hella risky play. Okay, I'm not going to be that risky. I was going to Ultra Ball, get a Zeb Striker, use the Electrode to charge his Zekrom up, but that just seems all kinds of bad. I'm just not a fan of it. So what I'm going to do is we are going to explode the Electrode here, definitely, and get energy into play. So we're going to put... This is going to go down next turn. So we're going to put 2 here. I'm going to put the rest on this Zekrom. Because we want some longevity on this bad boy. Yeah, definitely. So there we go. They go behind in prizes. Our counter gain is now activated. So we can go hit a nice 130 on this Gardevoir. And then if this Zekrom goes down, we go on even prizes. And in that sense, we are still keeping up with the game whilst, you know, creating some sacrifices, to be honest. And that'd be great to just raw draw into a Zeb Striker, please, because I want to get out of this dead hand situation. It's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird position that we're in, considering this deck is supposed to be considerably consistent. But, you know, I did play Tapu Lele in this list before. However, I have included Shrine and removed Tapu Lele. So I guess we lose a bit of consistency there. But I thought Zeb Striker would definitely keep us going. Maybe discarding that Zeb Striker wasn't the best way to go. Anyway, They're going to knock the Zekrom out, and if they do so, we put them in a bit of a predicament because their Zoroarks cannot take this bad boy out. Oh, they're gone for the Acer. God damn it. Why you gotta do that, man? Why? The goddamn Acer Rotor play. How frustrating. Just frustrating. They have a cargo, so it's they could just rare candy next turn. This is just all kinds of bad. The amount of control on their end when it comes to their board state is just too much for us to handle, unfortunately. I said don't play this deck. I warned you. Do not play this deck. I just played that so instinctually. I should have dropped the Shrine because I could have Ultra Balled for some Striker next time. That's fine. 130 damage, and we have an Outrage ready to go if they hit into us. So with that said, I guess we go on even terms there. The big benefit of this is, although there's so much sacrifice in this deck we're playing, we are a one-prize deck. So we can lose 2 prizes here and there, considering they still have to take out, free Pokemon. However, lower HP, that must be considered. Right, Guzma. So what are they going to Guzma out? Are they trying to trap me, or are they trying to knock out the Shuckle? I think they're trying to knock out the... I think... that's kind of smart. That's a smart play, because they get to take the prizes. They've got game then. They've definitely got a game next turn. If they have Macargo and a Zoroark next turn, they've got game, because they can just go, all right, Macargo, Guzma, game, right? Unless they've played all their Guzmas, which they haven't. So they have game by just simply having Macargo and Zoroark out. So that's kind of a shame. Coming up against a Zoroark control deck is always extremely hard to play against, especially if it's piloted well, because it's in the name control. They have so much control over what they do and how they play. So it's definitely something that is tough. So that's kind of like game, unfortunately. But we did have a pretty decent start. I think we played this deck backwards. Raikou is supposed to come in the late game rather than the early game. We never saw our Zev Striker that we wanted to get so badly and could have got us out of this sticky spot. Although with our opponent, their Ace of Rollers definitely saved them in turns where they would have just lost prizes heavily. So with that said, good game to my opponent. Try this deck if you dare. Now, I will say it does have some potential. It has potential in the sense where it can be explosive, it can be fast, and you don't need Electro GX to get it going. You don't have to do it. But nonetheless, that was the deck. Let me show you the list. It's fun. It's, as I said, for probably the 50th time in this video, it's explosive. Give it a shot. And tell me how badly you lost. Here is the list. Is there anything that you would do? Maybe drop an energy and add a counter game. That might be a good idea. But other than that, do leave a like if you did enjoy it. Again, I apologize so heavily for no face cam in this video. I guarantee you there will be one up tomorrow. Regardless, I'll take the extra precaution to make sure that does happen. Learning from today's mistakes. But yeah, with that said, subscribe for more, and I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully with a less crazy deck.